Hey everyone, as the next freshman class begins to commit to college, I wanted to sit down and talk about some of the biggest mistakes I made during my first year of college. Your freshman year is kind of all about figuring it out as you go, but I thought that maybe you would take something away from this video and hopefully not make the same mistakes that I did. So the first mistake I made was not diversifying my friend groups and realizing that good friendships sometimes take time. So your first semester of college, everyone's super friendly and putting themselves out there. People will wave to you in your dorm building and try to talk to you during class, but kind of as the school year goes on, a lot of people settle in their friend groups. I definitely ended up doing this and started hanging out with the same people every day, and while I was really grateful for them, I realized that I didn't really continue to put myself out there and search for other friends. Looking back, I realize it's important to diversify your friendships and have different people you can count on for different things. So for example, maybe you want friends in your major who you can have classes with, or maybe there's some friends that share a very similar hobby or passion. I think it's really important to keep putting in the effort to find those people and bond over different things. I also wish I realized that the people you meet first may not always continue to be your closest friends, and it's okay if you don't find those people right away. I always thought I was super introverted and awkward and had a hard time meeting people, but it just was that I wasn't really surrounding myself with people I clicked with until much later on in college. The second mistake I made was trying to do everything at once. A lot of freshmen may feel very motivated to join all these different clubs and organizations in Greek life, and while it's definitely an exciting time, really make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin. High school is kind of all about racking up those activities to put on your Common App when you apply to college, but my best advice when you get to college is try to focus on the top 1 to 3 organizations or activities that you're genuinely passionate about and want to continue to be a part of throughout your whole college experience. The third mistake I made was not reaching out to upperclassmen in my major and in general. Even though my major is pretty small at Georgia Tech, I am an out-of-state student, so I did come to college not really knowing anyone in my class, let alone in the classes above me. And looking back, it would have been so valuable to have some upperclassmen I knew in my major just to kind of like show me the ropes and give me little like pieces of advice or tips on courses or professors or just the major in general. So now I'm trying to be that person for freshmen at my college, but I really wish I could have had someone like that. So I definitely think when you go to college or even before then, if you can kind of make friends with people in the grades above you, it would be super valuable, as well as just like nice to have other friends at different stages of their education. The fourth mistake I made was not taking care of my health enough, and that can go for physical, mental, and emotional health. Freshman year is a huge change for everyone. It's a new environment, there's new people, and just a generally new pace of life. And while I was trying to take care of myself, I was not really being the healthiest I could be. I wasn't eating very nutritious meals, I was staying up way too late, and I was usually pretty stressed. I also didn't spend enough time alone to reflect on my thoughts and emotions, and I feel like some people in college are kind of scared of being alone and having alone time, but I think it's really important. The fifth mistake I made was having tunnel vision with my grades and career. This is something I still struggle with and I'm trying to work on, and it definitely has been ramped up just by going to Georgia Tech, which is a very rigorous and high achieving institution. In my first year, I spent so much time stressing over every exam and project and homework deadline. Looking back, I realized that yes, grades are important, but all of those extra hours that I spent stressing and studying just aren't really worth it in the long run. It's honestly kind of just like the law of diminishing returns. Like if you study for 20 hours, like how helpful is that 20th hour? And maybe you could have used that time to like chill out or like hang out with a friend instead. It's really important to remember that college is not just about your academics, it's also about putting the time in and finding things that make you happy and feel fulfilled. And one of the most important things I wish I knew was you don't have to be productive all the time. Honestly, sometimes self-care and taking a break is the most productive thing you can do. So when I go back to college in the fall, I'm really excited to go on picnics with my friends and have some time alone, maybe just going on a walk and just slowing down in general. The sixth mistake I made was not putting in enough effort to keep in contact with people back home. When you're in high school, you see your friends every day just because of proximity, and you don't have to really put as much effort in to keep in contact. But once everyone starts going to different colleges in different areas of the world, it's really important that you put in the effort to keep in touch. As everyone is starting their own chapters in their life, it's really easy to kind of forget about people back home because everyone's so focused on the new friendships they're making. But I think it's really great to try and connect with people on a weekly or monthly basis. And the seventh mistake is getting caught up into social media. I feel like when everyone goes to college, especially in that first year, a lot of people are posting pictures of themselves having the time of their lives with their new friends and their new environment, and sometimes it can make you feel bad, maybe that you're doing something wrong or you're missing out if you're not as happy as everyone else. But it's really important to remember, and I know everyone says this, but social media is really just a highlight reel. Especially when it comes to platforms like Instagram, or when you start getting into job searching, LinkedIn, with everyone announcing their FANG internship offers, it's just really important to try to keep a healthy balance and distance yourself from those negative feelings that you might have. So for me, I've been really trying to be more mindful with my social media consumption for the sake of my health, and it's still something that I struggle with. But I think it's really important to try to not get caught up into social media that much, because lots of times what people are posting is not always what's going on in real life. So these are pretty much the biggest mistakes I made during my first year of college, and I think it's really important to know that I didn't really fully realize them until a year after. So I think it's just super important to know that there's no shame in making mistakes. It's so much easier to look back and kind of judge your actions and think of what you could have done differently, but obviously in the moment it's much harder to get that perspective. I do believe that going through these myself and making these mistakes has been a huge part of my growth process. So I wouldn't really say I regret anything, but I just wanted to share my experience. So hopefully you can think about it, and even if you kind of go down the same path as me, just being more intentional and mindful of what you're doing could be really valuable too. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribed. I post a lot of videos about college, product design, internships, and just my life in general. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.